There we go. So the model is actually just moving by itself earlier. I think it's because of the wind or something. Or I don't know, it tends to get the audio maybe from the game. I mean, I'm on headphones already. Uh, anyway, hello and welcome. We're Kaban the Neko, and we're going to try and experience this story. It's actually a game adaptation of H.P. Lovecraft's Dagon, which is one of those pagan gods that they worship back in Bible days. Anyway, uh, we were planning to actually play this before, but the graphics couldn't. The computer couldn't handle the graphics. But now that we have a slightly better computer, it's kind of better now, or at least we can. This also has a VR version. Like if you get the game, you can also play it in VR, and it also has DLCs. Like the game itself is free, the base game is free, but there are DLCs that you can get as well. So yeah, we actually uh tested it a bit before, but of course we didn't get too far, so we do have an idea of how it works. So, but yeah, I'm just gonna start. Okay, starting. Yeah, I it has autosave, I think. Um, are you sure you want to proceed? Okay, of course I do. And there we go. Yeah. So it's a Dagon is a faithful interactive adaptation of H.P. Lovecraft's work, focused on story and atmosphere. You will not find difficult choices, action sequences, or inventory management here, and movement is limited to progressing through locations along with the plot. So it's basically it's not even a visual novel. It's more a kinetic novel, but you can roam around a bit.
I am writing this under an appreciable mental strain, since by tonight I shall be no more.
Whee! Let's go. Okay. Yeah. So these are the directions. During the game, we will encounter interactive elements. Some of them will allow you to continue your journey, others reveal interesting facts about the original short story. Ah, so it's a short story, so yeah, it's not gonna be long. We're probably gonna be playing something else later, if that's the case. Historical background and the author. Some of the trivia is hidden. In order to find these secrets, focus your eyes and look for the elder sign. I think this is, yeah, that one. Okay, okay, okay. Okay. So we're basically just, this is going to progress it. And if it's like that, it's going to progress the story. So we're going to have to, wait, how do you, no, let's see if we can find anything. Uh, Lovecraft's letters. Oh wow, okay, I didn't see this one. As to letters, my case is peculiar. I write such things exactly as easily and as rapidly as I would utter the same topics in conversation. Indeed, epistolary expression is with me largely replacing conversation as my condition of nervous frustration becomes more and more acute. Oh, basically, he's way too anxious to actually talk. You might as well just write it down. Yeah, can relate. Not gonna lie. Cannot bear to talk much now, and I'm becoming as silent as the spectator himself. My loquacity extends itself on paper. Throughout his life, Lovecraft penned around 100,000 letters to his friends and fans, out of which about 10% survive to this day. Oh god. But, or at least to the time when this game was made, I guess. Like, I'm not sure how much of it survived right now. But his tendency to endless correspondence was a relatively late growth. In youth, I scarcely did any letter writing. Thanking anybody for a present was so much of an ordeal that I would rather have written a 250-line pastoral or a 20-page treatise on the rings of Saturn. Wow, okay. So he did this late in life, or later in life, not early on. Lovecraft would often skip meals to afford postage. Oh wow. Yeah. Uh, Sending letters was really expensive back then. You have to, not just like buy stamps. You probably have to pay for. Yeah. I mean, stamps were not like cheapo before. Or I mean, back then transportation wasn't like today. I mean, come on, like using horses, air travel wasn't even a thing, so it would either have to be land or sea, probably. Yeah, and yeah, you don't have vehicles like now, so like letters would journey for like days. Collections of his correspondence have been published in various books, and selected letters can be found online. Some readers consider them his most important legacy. Not even his like books or what. That's something you can read the discovery trivia immediately or go back to them later in the main menu. Turn off displaying trivia. I don't know. I don't think it does. And besides, I would rather read it now and spend time on it, like in context, than going at it later. It's going to make our brain hurt. Yep. Okay. Okay. Is there anything else that we might miss? From what I know, there's nothing else here other than that one. So we're going straight there.
Penniless, and at the end of my supply of the drug which alone makes life
Life,
endurable, I can bear the torture no longer, and shall cast myself from this garret window into the squalid street below.
To think that it starts with a... yeah, that's kind of...
Do not think from my slavery to morphine that I am a weakling or a degenerate.
Degenerate? Okay.
When you have read these hastily scrawled pages, you may guess, though never fully realize, why it is that I must have forgetfulness or death.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. Okay, kuya. Okay po. Okay, so let's see this. Morphine. I'm actually kind of reminded of Shaman King. Because they're the drug named character there. Yeah, they had to kind of change it, I think, just to get past like censorship. No, they had to censor. Mm. Morphine entered into use in the 19th century and was routinely administered to treat severe pain during the American Civil War and World War One. It was also sold without restrictions until 1914. Yeah, they they used it for its benefits. Okay. Like, it is yeah, they administered it so that like people won't like feel as much. Yeah. But of course, being as it was, it had a tendency to be abused. So yeah. Morphine became more popular after the invention of the hypodermic syringe around 1854. Yeah, back then they didn't really have anything to easily administer this kind of thing. Really, sir, oh, damn it, I can't read it. Who first isolated the substance, originally named it morphium, after Morpheus, the Greek god associated with dreams. At the time when Dagon was published, morphine abuse, known as soldier's disease, because they're the ones who do it, who need it a lot. I mean, wartime, there's a lot of pain, you get attacked, you get injured, you kind of want to numb everything, Mhm. Already posed a big problem in the United States. Okay, let's see if there's other stuff that we can read before we move on. I doubt it. And yeah, I don't know. I don't think having VR is very yeah, it is very limited. I don't think having VR would change the experience that much because I mean you don't get to look unless you actually do get to look around the room. Like, but yeah, it's kind of. But if it's the
It was in one
same,
of the most open and least frequented parts of the broad Pacific that the packet of which I was supercargo fell a victim to the German sea raider.
hmm okay, okay. So oh, oh, let's see. Lovecraft and the Great War. Hmm. Dagon was written about around the month after the United States entered World War One. Lovecraft was actively interested in its course. He composed many poems in which he gave encouragement to soldiers and commented on events unfolding in Europe. He tried to enlist in the army, which he mentions in one of the letters to Reinhard Kleiner. Some time ago, impressed by my entire uselessness in the world, I resolved to attempt enlistment despite my almost invalid condition. Oh God. I argued that if I chose a regiment soon to depart for France, my sheer nervous force, which is not inconsiderable, might sustain me till a bullet or piece of shrapnel could more conclusively and effectively dispose of me. Ah. But even though he passed the physical exam, hmm, okay, his mother prevented him from going to the war. She has threatened to go to any lengths, legal or otherwise, if I do not reveal all the ills which unfit me for the army. Eh, yeah, you're not gonna survive, dude. Like, any writing that you might have done after the war, it's not gonna be anymore. I imagine if they made Bungo to Alchemist like after kind of like Token Rango. This is gonna be something. Like they're gonna make Lovecraft go to war. I imagine that. Imagine that. But it's weird that the characters themselves are the authors, or
The
at
Great
least the
War was
essences
then
of
at
the
its very
authors. Okay.
beginning, and the ocean forces of the Hun had not completely sunk to their later degradation,
Which one?
so that our vessel was made a legitimate prize, whilst we of her crew were treated with all the fairness and consideration due us as naval prisoners.
Okay. Okay. What are we gonna... Oh, what's that? The Huns. Okay. Yeah, there's mentions of Huns, but I'm pretty sure it's not Huns. I don't think the Huns were uh at the time. The Huns were Central Asian nomads who established a dominion in Europe and invaded the Roman Empire in the 5th century AD. They were known as brutal, deadly warriors and masters of quick raids who also developed powerful composite bows, lassos, and early siege weapons. During World War One, the British used the word Hun as a synonym for Germans. Ah, okay, okay. In order to emphasize their brutality. However, the term originated with the German Emperor Wilhelm II gave a speech to his troops on the 27th of July 1900 before they embarked to China. Should you encounter the enemy, he will be defeated. No quarter will be given. Prisoners will not be taken. Whoever falls into your hands is torpedoed, just as 1,000 years ago the Huns, under their king Attila, made a name for themselves. Oh yeah, one that even today makes them seem mighty in history and legend. May the name German be affirmed by you in such a way in China that no Chinese will ever dare to look cross-eyed at the German. Cross-eyed, racist shit. Come on, come on. The refusal to take prisoners was a clear breach of the laws and customs of war adopted during the First Convention of 1899. Ah, okay, so they basically killed everyone instead of taking some people prisoner. Oh God. Okay. What else? Is there anything else here? I don't think there's anything. So I guess we'll proceed. All right, let's go.
So liberal, indeed, was the discipline of our captors that 5 days after we were taken, I managed to escape alone in a small boat with water and provisions for a good length of time.
Whee! Okay. Yeah, they didn't care. They didn't fucking care. This is going to proceed it. This is going to make it proceed. Is there anything that I can see? Probably not. Oh God. Okay. Guess I have no choice. So we will go soft
When I
sea.
finally found myself adrift and free, I had but little idea of my surroundings.
Oh, no shit, man. You're in the middle of nowhere. And you just went off on a boat on your own.
Never a competent navigator, I could only guess vaguely by the sun and stars that I was somewhat south of the equator.
Ah, man. That is so pretty, you know.
Of the longitude, I knew nothing, and no
Oof.
island or coastline was in sight.
Well, you're in the middle of the fucking ocean. Huh? Good job. Okay, let's see. What's that? Oh, okay, that's going to make it progress. Let's see if we can see anything. Anything else that we might have overlooked. I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. Unless there's something in the ocean. Probably not. It's so pretty though. I hope I hope you guys can see it too. Uh, I guess we have no choice but to proceed.
The weather kept fair, and for uncounted days I drifted aimlessly beneath the scorching sun, waiting either for some passing ship or to be cast on the shores of some habitable land.
Oh boy. Habitable land, huh? Good boy. Okay. Let's see if we can find anything, see anything that we might. Oh, there we go. There we fucking go. Ah, there we go. All right. The Return to Short Stories. Dagon was written in July 1917 and first published in 1919. Wow! Holy shit! It was it was written in 1917 and first published in 1919. To think that it took 2 years. Huh, what do you know? And nowadays, writers are just like scrambling to get published as soon as possible, just for the money. There's no money in writing back then, or at least not with this. Like it's not fast. It's like painting or any other art form. It's just not fast. But now, yeah, it's like everyone's scrambling. Even we're kind of scrambling, and I kind of feel bad about that if that's the case. In a big run, an amateur magazine focused on the supernatural. Ah, right. This is a bit of a supernatural story. Uh, the story is the first of his stories that introduce an element from the Zulu mythos, Dagon itself. A pagan cult worshipping Dagon later appears in the shadow over Innsmouth, one of Lovecraft's most popular works. 1917 is also the year when he wrote The Tomb, a story about Jervis Dudley, a daydreamer who discovers a mysterious mausoleum in the woods by his house and becomes obsessed with it. These two works mark Lovecraft's return to short story writing after he burned most of its attempts at the genre. Ah, burned! Burned! Like, he actually set it on the fire? Man, lordy. Why? I mean, okay, most of his attempts at the genre 9 years prior and decided to concentrate on poetry. Poetry. Wait, is Lovecraft a whip in... I forgot. I forgot his main weapon. I think he was. I think he is. So it's uplifting. Okay, that's something. Lovecraft stated that it was his friend William Paul Cook, a literary publisher and critic, who convinced him to start writing weird fiction again. Why not, right? I mean, come on, why not? Why not write weird fiction? Good for you, friend. You got him into this whole Cthulhu thing. Yeah, again. So he really did do it before. Oh, I can actually go 360 on this. Or no, it just, that is weird. I can't go to the right, but I can go to the left. I can actually spin to the left, but not to the right. That is so weird. Anyway, okay, so guess we'll have to
But
proceed
neither ship nor land
and
appeared,
appeared.
and I began to despair in my solitude upon the heaving vastness of unbroken blue.
Wow. He's just like lying there on the boat. It's like Life of Pi, but without the tiger.
The change happened whilst I slept.
Dun,
Its
dun,
details
dun.
I shall never know. For my slumber, though troubled and dream-infested, was continuous.
Okay, now we're going with the tentacles. Yes, classic Lovecraft. Let's go. So yeah, so this is apparently one of his first. Yeah, that yeah, that return to strange things. Yeah. So yeah, we chose this and chose to try and play this for Spoopy because, well, as you can see right here, we're going with tentacles. Let's go. We're going with straight up the daddy of um stuff like this. Yeah, I can't. There's nothing. Yeah, There's nothing here unless I can't. Unless we're blind. I don't know.
When at last I awoke, it was to discover myself half sucked into a slimy expanse of hellish black mire, which extended about me in monotonous undulations as far as I could see.
Monotonous undulation. So they just did that shit over and over
And
again.
in which my boat lay grounded some distance away.
Well, good luck to the supplies, I guess.
Though
Supplies!
one might well imagine that my first sensation would be of wonder at so prodigious and unexpected a transformation of scenery, I was in reality more horrified than astonished.
Yeah, I mean, come on, it's very strange, you know.
For there
Rah.
was in the air and in the rotting soil a
Ooh.
sinister quality which chilled me to the very core. The region was putrid with the carcasses of decaying fish and of other less describable things which I saw protruding from the nasty mud of the unending plain.
I don't know, like, without the water,
Perhaps I should
I'm
not
just
hope
going
to
for
convey in mere
creatures.
words the unutterable hideousness that can dwell in absolute silence and barren immensity.
I do like, I do like the wording of it. It's very
There was nothing within hearing
intense.
and nothing in sight save a vast reach of black slime. Yet the very completeness of the stillness and the homogeneity of the landscape oppressed me with a nauseating fear.
I guess it's one of those things that won't really do much until you actually experience
The
it.
sun was blazing down from a sky which seemed to me almost black in its cloudless cruelty, as though reflecting the inky marsh beneath my feet.
Okay, that's kind of shit. That's kind of shit. Okay, let's see if we can find anything that we can. Nothing. It's just an inky hellscape. Let's go. Oh. Is that a trilobite? Oh my god. The origins of Dagon. Dagon seems to be inspired by Fishhead, a short novel by Irvin S. Cobb about unnatural affinities between a hybrid idiot. A hybrid? What? Okay. A hybrid idiot and the strange fish of an isolated lake. And Lovecraft's dream about a strange island emerging from the ocean and him crawling in the ooze that covered its surface. I dreamed that whole hideous crawl and can yet feel the ooze sucking me down. Oof. Yeah, that's kind of shit. Lovecraft's interest in the topic stemmed from his aversion to fish and sea sounds. Yeah, it's kind of, fishy smelling. I mean, the aversion to it is it's kind of, it's kind of just, I guess, like, I don't know, it's very close to the smell of rot, I guess. I've hated fish and feared the sea and everything connected with it since I was 2 years old, but I cannot recall what earlier experience gave me such a profound and lasting aversion to the sea and seafood. Ah, so that's why. Okay. I wonder what would happen if it was a fish dish. And I think uh, go for it. Okay, since that is all. Eh, I imagine walking through that. It's like,
As I crawled into the stranded boat,
Crawl.
realized that only one theory could explain my position.
Okay, what position
Through
is it?
some unprecedented volcanic upheaval, a portion of the ocean floor must have been thrown to the surface, exposing regions for which innumerable millions of years had lain hidden under unfathomable watery depths. So great was the extent of the new land which had risen beneath me that I could not detect the faintest noise of the surging ocean, straining my ears as I might.
So it's just...
Nor were there any seafowl to prey upon the dead things.
It's so weird. Yeah, it's definitely weird. Like weird. Like, hello? Huh? Nah. It's just that, you know? It's just that. Oh. The mystery of volcanic islands. Volcanic eruptions sometimes result in the creation of islands. Oh yeah, like the lava comes out of the volcano and then they form into land, basically. Okay. Yeah, most of them. Ah, okay. Yeah, yeah. So most of them are transient and erode after some time. I think it might be from the ones that are from underwater volcanoes. There are underwater volcanoes. There are some islands that form from volcanoes that have like openings that are just above the sea. So they erupt and then like the lava just forms the land around them. The floating pumice, porous rock created when superheated pressurized rock is ejected from a volcano. Can move across long distances and transport barnacles and macroalgae. Pumice is used, yeah, so it's a very porous rock. It floats on water, and it's also used for cleaning, for scrubbing skin and transport barnacles and macroalgae that cling to it. In 2001, rafts of pumice created during the eruption of a volcano near Tonga eventually reached Australia. Huh? That's nice. That's awesome. Mm, what else? Yeah, there's nothing there. I don't think there's anything in the boat. So I guess we'll go with the fish. I bet some of them are already like rotting. The
For
smell of
several
rotting
hours I
fish. No.
sat thinking or brooding in the boat, which lay upon its side and afforded a slight shade as the sun moved across the heavens.
So we can see like the shadow of the boat there.
As the day progressed, the ground lost some of its stickiness and seemed likely to dry sufficiently for traveling purposes in a short time.
Okay.
That night I slept but little, and the next day I made for myself a pack containing food and water, preparatory to an overland journey in search of the vanished sea and possible rescue.
Those tentacles just keep moving, you know. Holy shit. Is there anything out there? Oh my god. This is to progress it, I think. Yeah. So we gotta either. Oh my god. Hello? I cannot see a thing. The shadows of those things are just something. Yeah, there's nothing. That's sad. I think I'll just go on.
On the third morning, I found the soil dry enough to walk upon with ease. The odor
Okay.
of the fish was maddening, but I was too
Oof.
much concerned with graver things to mind so slight an evil, and set out boldly for an unknown goal.
Yeah, it's like the sky is very black. Yeah, this is one hell of a hellscape. Yep. And this is definitely one hell of a hellscape. Is that like a big ass fish mold? Or some shell or something? Oh god. Nothing. I guess. Yeah, nothing. Oh my god.
All day I
What
forged
are
steadily
those?
westward, guided
What
by a
are
faraway hummock which rose higher than any other elevation on the rolling desert.
yeah, rolling wet desert? Holy shit. What that? Oh my god. Nothing there. Nothing there. Nothing there. Let's just go. Nothing there. What are these things? They end up being so bizarre. But then again, the deep sea is a big mystery for everyone. We still haven't explored it, right? As a human, as a human race, like we still haven't explored what we can explore. I mean, like, why are we even aiming for space when we haven't even seen the seafloor that very well?
That night I encamped, and on the following day still travelled toward the
What
hummock,
are
though that
those?
object seemed scarcely nearer than when I had first espied it.
Yeah, it's just there, but it's like you can reach it, but you can't. Oh, oh, oh. There's a thing. There's a thing. I don't know how to. There we go. The horrors of the ocean. The creator of the Cthulhu mythos and the fictional underwater city of. Yeah. Was convinced that life could not exist at the bottom of the ocean because the water pressure would make it uninhabitable. Yeah, today we know. Today we know that there are fish and other things that can live near the bottom of the ocean and survive that pressure. It's just that humans can't survive that pressure. Yeah. Today we know that the darkest depths of the ocean are home to many peculiar organisms. The deepest dwelling fish we have discovered so far, the Mariana snailfish, can live about 8,000 meters, more than 26,000 feet, below the ocean surface in never-ending darkness and at hellishly crushing pressures, hundreds of times stronger than those found at sea level. Upon glancing at the modern photos of deep-sea creatures such as the anglerfish, the fangtooth, or the viperfish, and their truly Lovecraftian characteristics, it's hard not to find some irony in this. Yeah, you thought it was out of this world, but no, dude, there is something that exists already. That's how fucked it is. So there aren't any more. So there are clouds now. That's something. Guess he has to walk on. Gads.
By the
There.
fourth evening, I attained the base of the mound, which turned out to be much higher than it had appeared from a distance. An
Okay.
intervening valley setting it out in sharper relief from the general surface. Too weary to ascend, I slept in the shadow of the hill.
Oh boy.
I know not why my dreams were so wild that night,
Define wild.
but ere the waning and fantastically gibbous moon had risen far above the eastern plain,
Winning and fantastic. Give us.
I
Okay,
was
so it's
awake in a cold perspiration, determined to sleep no more.
the low like
Such
water
visions
under.
as I had experienced were too much for me to endure again.
Okay.
And in the glow of the moon I saw how unwise I had
It's
been to
it's
travel by day.
Oop.
Without the glare of the parching sun, my journey would have cost me less energy.
Cool. But at the same time, though, I wouldn't be able to see that much.
Indeed, I now felt quite able to perform the ascent which had deterred me at sunset. Picking up my pack, I started for the crest of the eminence.
Okay. Okay. And that's the path. Oh, the loner. Contrary to popular opinion, Lovecraft was not an ever-frowning, eccentric, grumpy loner. He considered himself to be a person who appreciated humor. Moreover, he would often meet with friends in his apartment or at various cafes in Brooklyn and Manhattan. At times, his social life was so intensive his work would suffer for months. Okay, there was a point when he finally decided needed to put an end to daily meetings and loitering in New York cafeterias and resorted to hiding at home and reading with the main room light turned off, pretending he wasn't there whenever a friend knocked on his door. Okay. He also had another method of deterring his guests, which involved greeting them in a bathrobe with an unmade bed visible in the background and piles of paper scattered across the floor. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of, so he's kind of extreme. Like at one point, he just like, hey, let's go, and then like, no, I need to stop this. I need to get some work done. Yeah, it's a mood. It's a whole ass mood. Okay. Is there anything else? Nothing else. Alright.
I have said that the unbroken monotony of the rolling plain was a source of vague horror to me.
Okay.
But I think my horror was greater when I gained the summit of the mound and looked down the other side into an immeasurable pit or canyon, whose black recesses the moon had not yet soared high enough to illumine.
Like how deep is this pit?
I felt myself on the edge of the world, peering over the rim into a fathomless chaos of eternal night.
Like he can't see what's on the bottom. Oh
Through
god.
my terror ran curious reminiscences of Paradise Lost and of Satan's hideous climb through the unfashioned realms of darkness. As the moon climbed higher in the sky, I began to see that the slopes of the valley were not quite so perpendicular as I had imagined.
Okay. Okay. Any more trivia that we can get? I guess not.
Ledges and outcroppings of rock afforded fairly easy footholds for a descent.
Descent into what? It's just black. It's like a black carpet.
Whilst after a drop of only a few hundred feet, the declivity became very gradual.
Okay, so okay. Okay. So after like some steep stuff, like which he can easily get to, it becomes like a gentle slope. That's basically what he said.
Urged on by an impulse which I cannot definitely analyze, I scrambled with difficulty down the rocks and stood on the gentler slope beneath,
Okay.
gazing into the Stygian deeps, where no light had yet penetrated.
Yeah, it's like he's
All
underwater,
at once, my
but there's no
attention was
water.
captured by a vast and singular object on the opposite slope, which rose steeply about 100 yards ahead of me.
What is that?
An object that gleamed whitely in the newly bestowed
Whitely?
rays of the
Oh god.
ascending moon.
There's such a thing as a whitely. Let's go. Yeah, like right, like these days you don't say whitely anymore, do you? Newly bestowed rays of the ascending. It's is that some sort of monolith? Oh god. Let's see. Let's see. There is almost nothing. It's just that thing over there. Oh, is that yeah, that's the thing. Man, the moon looks so fucked up. There's nothing there? Ah, damn it. Here we go.
That it was merely a gigantic piece of stone, I soon
Right.
assured myself.
Gigantic piece of stone. Sure, kuya. Sige,
But I was
sige po.
conscious of a distinct impression that its contour and position were not altogether the work of nature.
Come on, look at that. I mean, it's so straight.
A
What
closer
do you,
scrutiny filled me with sensations I cannot express.
what kind of sensations are we talking about? What do you mean? What do you mean sensations? I don't know, man. You're kinda fucked up in the head. Oh god, that noise. That ambient music. Not gonna lie, that really creepy. Guess we
For
have no
despite its enormous magnitude and its position in an abyss which had yawned at the bottom of
yawn.
the sea since the world was young,
Oh,
I perceived beyond a doubt that the strange object was a well-shaped monolith.
oh shit. Those monoliths are dangerous and yeah, opening a bag of snacks. I'm sorry.
Whose massive bulk had known the workmanship and perhaps the worship of living and thinking creatures. Dazed and frightened, yet not without a certain thrill of the scientist's or archaeologist's delight, I examined my surroundings more closely.
Okay. Yeah, there's almost nothing here. No more factoids? Come on. Give me the factoids. I guess not. I mean, yeah, something like that is definitely not natural.
The moon, now near the zenith, shone weirdly and vividly above the towering
Oh
steeps
god.
that hemmed in the chasm, and revealed the fact that a far-flung body of water flowed at the bottom, winding out of sight in both directions and almost lapping my feet as I stood on the slope. Across the chasm, the wavelets washed the base of the Cyclopean monolith, on whose surface I could now trace both inscriptions and crude sculptures.
Let's go. Let's see if there's anything we can get at. Guess not. And there's almost nothing. I hate this. Yeah, it's just that. Oh well.
The
Well,
writing was in a system of hieroglyphics unknown to me and unlike anything I'd ever seen in books.
hmm, it's full of sea creatures.
Consisting for the most part of conventionalized aquatic symbols such as fishes, eels,
Mm,
octopi, crustaceans, mollusks, whales, and the like.
even
Several
rather shark
characters
on.
obviously represented marine things which are unknown to the modern world.
Yeah, like deep sea fish. There's even like a scorpion fish in that. Oh,
Whose decomposing forms I had observed on the ocean-risen plain.
oh yeah, those things, like the unknown parts, the tentacles and
It was the
the
pictorial
claw
carving,
things.
however, that did most to hold me spellbound.
Ooh. Hmm. Storytelling methods. That contains many themes and storytelling methods that Lovecraft developed in his later works, such as telling the story through carvings, journals and characters' notes, islands emerging from the ocean, or fictional beings and deities based on real events and mythologies. Hmm. It's also considered the origin of the popular Cthulhu mythos. Some of Lovecraft's other stories also conclude in a manner similar to Dagon, but let's skip the details in order not to spoil the ending. Okay. Okay, so now we're going.
Plainly visible across the intervening water on account of their enormous size were an array of bas-reliefs whose subjects would have excited the envy of a doré.
Mm,
I think that these things were supposed to depict men, at least a certain sort of men, though the creatures were shown disporting like fishes in the waters of some marine grotto.
mermaids? Oh god.
Or paying homage at some monolithic shrine which appeared to be under the waves as well.
So this actually surfaced.
Of their faces and forms I dare not speak in detail, for the mere remembrance makes me grow faint.
Oh. Okay, so we're assuming that he actually survived this ordeal. This whole thing.
Grotesque beyond the imagination of a Poe or a Bulwer.
Suddenly it's like, is this the real life? Is the truth? Why are they playing like Queen?
They were damnably human in general outline, despite webbed hands and feet, shockingly wide and flabby lips,
No.
glassy, bulging eyes, and other features less pleasant to recall. Curiously
We
enough,
got fucking
they
Queen
seem to
in
have
there.
been chiseled badly out of proportion with their scenic background.
Okay.
For one of the creatures was shown in the act of killing a whale, represented as but little larger than himself.
I don't know. They might be that big, you know.
I remarked, as I say, their grotesqueness and strange size,
They might be giant.
but in a moment decided that they were merely the imaginary gods of some primitive fishing or seafaring tribe.
Right. Sure. Big apple.
Some tribe whose last descendant had perished eras before the first ancestor of the Piltdown or Neanderthal man was born.
Oh boy. This is not gonna go well. Yeah. I swear, it's like, look at that. Look at those poor faces at the top. It's like, this is a matter of a man. Scaramouche, Scaramouche. Oh god.
Awestruck at this unexpected glimpse into a past beyond the conception of the most daring anthropologist, I stood musing whilst the moon cast queer reflections on the silent channel before me. Then, suddenly, I saw it.
Saw it. Let's go, let's go. 1, 2, 3.
With only a slight churning to mark its rise
Oh,
to the surface,
there we go.
the thing slid into view above the dark waters.
The fuck? There we go. Let's go, baby. Ah! Oh, baby.
Like a stupendous monster of nightmares to the monolith.
Oh my lordy.
About which it flung its gigantic scaly arms, the while it bowed its hideous head and gave vent to certain measured sounds.
Whoa, baby. Let's go.
I think I went mad then.
Whoa, let's go.
Of my frantic ascent of the slope and cliff, and of my delirious journey back to the stranded boat, I remember little.
Just like went up in the days. Oh god. Is that it? Like, okay, okay. So we're gonna have to go up. Let's go. Yeah, I don't think.
I believe I sang a great deal and laughed oddly when I was unable to sing.
Man, the thing though, you could just go mad. Come on, come on, come on. There's not even like laughing sounds or anything.
I have indistinct recollections of a great storm sometime after I reached the boat. At any rate, I know that I heard pearls of thunder and other tones which nature utters only in her wildest moods.
Oh boy. Is he gonna be lost at sea again?
When I came out of the shadows, I was in a San Francisco hospital.
So wait, that was a long ass dream.
Brought thither by the captain of the American ship which had picked up my boat in mid-ocean.
Oh my god. Okay.
In my delirium, I had said much, but found that my words had been given scant attention.
Oh.
Of any land upheaval in the Pacific, my rescuers knew nothing.
Okay.
Nor did I deem it necessary to insist upon a thing which I knew they could not believe.
Like one of those old hospitals that are. Oh. In defense of Dagon. In 1921, Lovecraft released a series of 3 essays. The Defense Reopens, The Defense Remains Open, and Final Words, later published as a collection titled In Defense of Dagon, in which he rebuked a series of criticisms directed at his works. Some notable quotes: "I paint what I dream and will let the public settle the rest amongst themselves." Mr. Monday asked the reason for being of Dagon. I will give it purely and simply to reproduce a mood. Its subject is the simplest in all art portrayals. Why are they even asking why why he even wrote that? I mean, come on, like I don't know. Sometimes it's just to express. The physical horrors of war, no matter how extreme and unprecedented, hardly have a bearing on the entirely different realm of supernatural terror. Ghosts are still ghosts. The mind can get more thrills from unrealities than from realities. In the essays, Lovecraft touches upon the topics of atheism, materialism, the quest for truth, and the love of science. Why I won't actually read his shit. Nah, just kidding. I'll probably read it just because. There we go. Yeah, after I said he's not exactly the best person, but hey, we have all kinds of people in the world. And I think they also say that he's racist. I'm not really sure. The atheist. Lovecraft considered himself an atheist and absolute materialist, which he attributed partly to his early childhood interest in astronomy and science in general. But now, actually, some scientists are now saying that God is proven through science, right? Like the existence of God is proven by like what we discover um, through science. The stuff that we cannot have explanations for. Yeah. But of course, you believe what you believe. And I am indeed an absolute materialist so far as actual belief goes, without a shred of credence in any form of supernaturalism. Religion, spiritualism, transcendentalism, metempsychosis, or immortality. All I say is that I think it is damn unlikely that anything like a central cosmic will, the spirit world, or an eternal survival of personality exists. So basically, it's unlikely that there is a God, and it's unlikely that there's the spiritual realm, and it's unlikely that there are ghosts or like there's an afterlife. I think that's what he's trying to say. They are the most preposterous and unjustified of all the guesses which can be made about the universe, and I am not enough of a hair split to pretend that I don't regard them as arrant and negligible moonshine. In theory, I am an agnostic. Yeah, actually, because he says it's unlikely, and he doesn't say that it doesn't exist. But pending the appearance of radical evidence, I must be classed practically and provisionally as an atheist. Hmm. Fair, fair, fair. I think that they put elements here that can be connected to certain pieces of trivia. The journalist. Lovecraft was a prominent figure in the world of amateur journalism. In 1915, he started publishing his own journal called The Conservative, which included political and social commentary, poetry, short stories, and literary criticism written by him and other authors. Howard was a skilled wordsmith. Yeah. He also took criticisms to heart. Yeah. I mean, judging from the way that he wrote essays to defend his work, yeah, I'm pretty sure he did. He did. He fucking did. Which resulted in his decision to step away from writing poetry and concentrate on weird fiction again. Because at least weird fiction, I guess, it's kind of, you know, judge it however you want. It's not really like, yeah, like people can say one thing, people can say another thing about it because it's weird, it's weird. I think, this was one of his, yeah, this was his actual reason for going back to weird fiction. At least, what they say is can just be what critics say about it can just be dismissed. Whereas, it doesn't really, it's fiction, it's weird fiction. Hmm. For the first time since his teenage years. Dagon published in 1919 is one of the short stories written during that period. And this example is from the conservative. The master of horror fiction explains his attitude towards warfare and the idea of world peace. Why any sane human being can believe in the possibility of universal peace is more than the conservative can fathom. Should the entire civilized world agree simultaneously to disarm one or more nations would undoubtedly retain secret armaments at the proper time, take advantage of their more altruistic and less astute contemporaries in a wild career of conquest against unarmed victims. No country is or ever can be above warfare until the basic impulses of the human animal shall have miraculously changed. Hmm. Actually, actually, I mean, we still wage wars in the sense that there's always conflict. You know, no country, no people can ever be above warfare unless, yeah, like unless our nature, is changed to better for the better, like stuff. In a way, he kind of, kind of went the Christian route, despite not being Christian, or at least he and observed those things. Man, that is kind of creepy. Okay.
Once I sought out a celebrated ethnologist
Mm.
and amused him with peculiar questions regarding the ancient Philistine legend of Dagon, the fish god.
Ah, there we go. Yeah, Philistines. Yeah, the name appears in the Bible, actually. So, as one of those gods that they worship, like those other tribes worship, like those other peoples worship. There we go. Mm, Dagon. Da- Okay, to pronounce it Dagon, I pronounce it Dagon. Dagon was the main deity of the Philistines, worshipped throughout the Middle East as the ancient god of fertility and crops. In Hebrew, the word Dagon was a common noun for grain. Rulers of Akkad, Mesopotamia, chose him as the patron saint of their war conquest. Ah, okay, okay. He also appeared as the judge of the dead in an Assyrian poem and an underworld prison warder in one of the Babylonian texts. He is often mistakenly taken for a fish god due to the wrong interpretation of his name. As in Hebrew, the word dag means fish. Okay, okay. In H.P. Lovecraft's work, Dagon is an underwater deity ruling over the deep ones, a humanoid race with fish traits that resides in the oceans, basically fishmen, basically sa haggis, I don't know. He is worshipped by a secret cult called the Esoteric Order of that. Okay. That's kind of shitty. Anyway, let's go. Is there anything else here? Is there anything that I can look at? Hmm. Yeah, there's nothing, I guess. There was a lot in the hospital, not gonna lie. But I guess we'll go for that. It's amusing, actually, that we started in
But
the
soon
end.
perceiving that he was hopelessly conventional, I
Uh,
did not press my inquiries.
Oof, that's sad. Oh, economical. August Derleth and the Cthulhu Mythos. August Derleth was an American writer and anthologist. Okay. He also befriended Lovecraft and published many of his works through his company, Arkham House. Although he greatly contributed to the popularization of the author's works after his death, he is surrounded by numerous controversies. One of his most questionable decisions involved introducing the good versus evil doctrine, that was a devout Catholic, to the Cthulhu mythos, which contrasted with Lovecraft's view of the world and his approach to cosmic horror. As a result, the author's works are often misunderstood and misrepresented in today's culture. It is also worth noting that Lovecraft was never really interested in creating a mythology, and the term Cthulhu mythos was coined by Thurleff after the author left the mortal plane. Okay, this was posthumous. So he didn't intend to actually create that thing. It just got a life of its own. It says Necronomicon. It says Necronomicon on the book. By the way, so Necronomicon can refer to Necronomicon, the book that he wrote, and it can also refer to the Necronomicon, Necronomicon. Okay, like the actual uh cursed book. Yeah, there is an actual uh book called the Necronomicon. I know it has like a slightly longer name. I forgot what it was. It a friend told it to us. Um, yeah, and another friend actually found pages of that Necronomicon, the occult thing, not the H.P. Lovecraft work, and he actually got visited by something. So no, that is not good at all. I'm sorry, Kuya. Yeah, the main character has definitely gone pretty mad. Not not gonna lie. Like, I mean, oh, there's another one. Uh, the marketer. Okay. Lovecraft's attempts to find a job in 1925 were influenced by advice he received from friends. Among others, he started freelancing for a marketing magazine where he would write announcements and commercials. Feel free to judge his copywriting skills for yourself. Oh boy, let's go. Let's go. Okay. From an ad for Curtis Woodward. Curtis Woodward embraces both the usual structural units and the cleverest contrivances of built-in or permanent furniture, such as bookcases, dressers, buffets, and cupboards. Every model is conceived and created with the purest art, rightest scholarship, and mellowest craftsmanship, which energetic enterprise can command, and made to conform rigidly to the architecture of each particular type of home. The cost, considering the quality, is amazingly low, and a trademark on the individual pieces prevents any substitution by careless contractors. Um, um, this will not pass in today's marketing, uh, in today's copywriting, because today's copywriting, you gotta be short. It's gotta be short and sweet. Like it would have to be simple. But then again, back then language was pretty kind of like this. You know, people appreciated that sort of language. Anyway, I would know because we got into copywriting ourselves, but we never got a, we were never accepted by any company. So we did shit freelance, mostly to help our friend out. Actually, it's not really like to for our own or anything. It's for her mostly. Now the music is actually getting pretty creepy. Oh, the scientist. These days, the word scientist was a widely accepted term, but at the time Dagon was published, it was subject to a wide debate. Ah, okay, okay. What? Oh, okay, okay. After the author used it in the story, critics pointed out that man of science was a more appropriate term to employ. He admitted in defense that if Dagon were to be reprinted, he would indeed use the phrases suggested. Scientist was coined as an analog to artist to be used when referring to those studying different branches of science. Yet, in the 19th and early 20th centuries, scientific researchers in Great Britain and the United States were of the opinion that man of science, resembling the term man of letters, was the only proper choice. Among other things, it was gender specific, indicating that science was an endeavor to be pursued by only one sex. Ah! The term scientist became more accepted only after World War II and man of science started fading into obscurity as an old-fashioned synonym. Ah, okay. So back then, they didn't think that women should be in science. So it's just going to be, yeah, it's like, yeah, it's like, oh, yeah, back then, men dominated these fields, writing, science, even art. Women were expected to just stay at home, take care of kids, love the family, their husbands, etc., etc., etc. You know, you know, it happens, I guess. But that was back then. So now it's a lot, a lot more liberal. Looking. It's not, it's not restricted to men anymore. It's like
It
science
is at
have.
night, especially when the moon is gibbous and waning, that I see the thing.
I like how they. I like how people actually pronounce words that that end in like G. For example, the thing. Like I'd say it the thing, but they'd say it. It has a bit of a K to it, so the C the thing, but it's actually thing. So is there more stuff here? I guess not. I guess not.
I tried morphine,
Oh, here we go. We try.
but the drug has given only transient surcease and has drawn me into its clutches as a hopeless slave.
Oof. Okay, so we tried morphine basically to get rid of those visions, I guess. But now he's addicted to
So
morphine.
now I am to end it all, having written a full account for the information or the contemptuous amusement of my fellow men.
He really did not take criticism lightly. Definitely. Oh, what's that? Did he take to the bottle? Oh boy. Ah, okay. Hmm, okay. Amusing. Lovecraft hated tobacco, even though he used to smoke when he was 12, in order to look and feel like an adult. In his correspondence with friend Reinhard Kleiner, he claims that he quit as soon as he started wearing long pants. Wow. He also had a very strong opinion about alcohol, as evidenced by his letter to Zealia Brown, dated the 13th of February 1928. As for the matter of drinking, I've never tasted intoxicating liquor and never intend to. having a strong aesthetic disgust at anything which blunts or coarsens the delicate natural equipoise of the evolved human intellect and imagination. Ah, okay. Okay, okay. He doesn't want himself to be dull, basically. His faculty. Um, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of scary sometimes to find yourself at a lower capacity. Drinking is heightened my personal repugnance, hence I don't drink. Let the herd do what they will. I'm rather in favor of prohibition, the prohibition of any one antisocial force as well as of any other. Okay. Anything else? Anything else? I wonder if he was into drugs though. I don't think so.
Often, I ask myself if it could not all have been a pure phantasm, a mere freak of fever, as I lay sun-stricken and raving in the open boat after my escape from the German man-of-war.
Oof.
This I ask myself, but ever does there come before me a hideously vivid vision in reply. I cannot think of the deep sea without shuddering at the nameless things that may at this very moment be crawling and floundering on its slimy bed, worshipping their ancient stone idols and carving their own detestable likenesses on submarine obelisks of water-soaked granite.
Oof.
I dream of a day when they may rise above the billows to drag down into their reeking talons the remnants of puny, war-exhausted mankind. Of a day when the land shall sink and the dark ocean shall ascend amidst universal pandemonium.
Oh, nice. Can you imagine if that actually happened though?
The end is near.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy.
I hear a noise at the door, as of some immense slippery body lumbering against it.
Oh god. It's actually moving. He actually put like that thing near it. Oh god. You're kind of wondering, do we have any trivia that we should uncover? I don't know if we do. Oh boy.
It shall not find me.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
God, that hand! The window! The window!
Come on, let's go. Whee! Ding! I'm actually glad that they didn't like portray it. Oh boy. Yeah, there are DLCs and there are other games. That was something. I don't even know if I got everything though. If I if I didn't, oh damn it. I would be so I'd be so mad. In that case I'd have to like I'd have to find whatever that thing is. That trivia that I have not uncovered. Yeah, that's the loading screen. It's gonna go into the main menu at some point. Come on, come on. Hmm, where's it going? Ah, damn it. Ah, damn it. I didn't. Come on. Can we continue?
I hear a noise at the door, as of some immense slippery body lumbering against it.
Yeah, one of them is way too far. Um, I wonder if I have to find it like, after we open the door or after the door opens. Yeah, so if we
It
actually,
shall not find me.
I wonder if we can die there. I don't, I guess not. Like, not in that
God,
way.
that hand! The window! The window!
Oh, I guess not. I guess not. No. Yeah, I guess I don't really have the patience to do that. It might be in one of those park. Yeah, one of them is after the either at the hospital or after the hospital, and we just didn't find it. Oh God. Okay, after this, yeah, this is short. This is actually pretty short. So that means we have to do another game in that case. That was nice though. Mm, it gives quite a bit of insight to how many achievements does this have anyway. There's one for finding all of the trivia pieces, isn't it? Um, we haven't gotten the Eldritch biographer yet, so damn it. I have no patience. I have no patience for this. Oh god.